And we know, Tony, that there is an anniversary coming up soon, isn't there? And you've got sort of dreams about what might happen on that anniversary.
Well, I should say, because you when we spoke, you had no idea that I worked on BBC Breakfast.
No.
In your own words, you thought I was a bloke with a dog.
That's it.
And I came back to talk to you again.
That's right.
You know, you never asked for any money, never asked for anything personally. All you said was you wanted to remember these men.
That's right.
And
That's
the
all I'm
ideal way of
about.
doing that for you, you said, was on the 75th anniversary, which is the 22nd of February, you wanted a flyover. And I foolishly said to you, Tony, leave it with me. Well, I know you're here to meet the ambassador today, but we've also got a bit of a surprise for you, OK? Have a look at the screen over here, because we're going to go now live to RAF Lakenheath, where lots of American planes are based. And this is Jane McCubbin, who works on Breakfast, and she's got a little bit of a treat for you, so make sure you're watching, OK?
Morning.
Good morning to you. Yeah, good morning from RAF Lakenheath. Good morning, Tony. Somebody else here wants to say hello too.
Good morning, Tony.
How fabulous is this? This is an RAF base, but it is also home to the biggest American Air Force camp in the UK. Good morning, everybody. Thanks for coming down today. And Tony, we're talking today, aren't we, about these 10 men who 75 years ago lost their lives to protect many, many, many more lives. Have a look at the plane behind me, Tony. Have we got Tony back in vision now? Have a look at this. Back then, 75 years ago, those guys were flying a B17. Today, the men and women who work here fly something like this. This is an F-15. And Tony, have a good first look at this, because you'll be seeing more of it soon. Let me introduce Colonel Will Marshall with your special message direct to Tony.
Good morning, Tony. On behalf of my teammates at the RAF, the 352nd Special Operations Wing, the 100th Air Refueling Wing, and here at the 48th Fighter Wing, it gives me great pleasure to say, look to the skies on 22 February for a very special flyby.
You got your flyby, Tony. Woo!
I know it's probably hard for you to speak now, because can you put into words what that means to you, Tony?
That's everything, isn't it? That's everything I wanted.
Why is that so important to you? I mean, I know you've explained this to me and to many other people, but it's the memory of those men, isn't it, for you?
Yeah. I mean, they're mine. They're my family. They're my family. You know, it's not just it's not a memorial to me. And the actual memorial is mine, apart from one day a year, when it's the 22nd. Every other time, it's mine.
Oh, honestly, what a wonderful moment.
I should give you a hug. Come on.
Oh, Ambassador, thank you so I don't really, it's not very often that I'm speechless, but thank you for being part of an amazing organisation to get this done.
Well, it is an amazing moment, and Tony, and it takes amazing people to have an amazing moment. And so I'm so happy you did this, because now millions of people will know about these 10 men.
Yeah.
And all the other men that died on that day too.
I don't know, because honestly, this has been the biggest secret. I only knew at a very late stage this was happening. So I know very little about what's going to happen. So the Flypast is going to happen.
Weather permitting.
Weather
permitting. We should say weather permitting.
Can you give me more details?
Yeah, well, it's going to be what Tony wanted, and we'll commemorate this and put it on the map and world memorials. And this, everybody's going to know about this and these men. And that day, that was right before D-Day, a couple months before D-Day. So they were preparing for D-Day. But this is very significant, this 75th anniversary. So we'll be spending the rest of the year talking about what you did here.
I think we should also say as well, I mean, there's always been a very strong bond between the UK and the United States of America, and this story went really well supported in Sheffield, and then sort of across the United Kingdom. But then so many people contacting from America, amazed at what Tony has done for so many years, and this memorial that not many people outside of Sheffield knew too much about. And I know this probably sounds a bit crass and a bit strange, but it's weirdly brought so many people together, this story, and Tony's part in all this.
Well, this is a gem that was undiscovered. And having a piece of history that's living history should be very popular in the U.S. And I know it's going to be very poignant here because of the 75th anniversary. Everybody in the world is going to be celebrating and looking at this. And this really is the top of the cake.
And we know, you know, that the UK. This is a really good example of the special relationship between the US and the UK. Is it still as strong now as it has been? How would you describe our relationship?
I'd say it's stronger now than ever. I mean, the UK and the US have always had the strongest relationship. The UK is our best ally, and I've said that consistently since I've been here. And you can see the men and women at Lakenheath, how dedicated they are. And I know that when they heard this, Dan, this idea, I guarantee they jumped on it. It's such a good idea.
Well, it's true, because I promised Tony, and I thought, well, I can't not deliver on a promise. And I managed to speak to your office quite soon after that. And then RAF Lakenheath were, within 24 hours, they were like, we will do all that we can, as long as we can get the clearance from Germany initially and from back in the US and get you on board. The RAF have been involved. So many people, Tony.
All kept this from me.
So
Tony, you're not alone, and me.
I wasn't allowed to tell anybody for the security reasons, so I know we've spoken a lot in between. I just told you that I would do all that I could. But amazingly, Tony, so many people have got involved, and so many people want... And I know, again, this is important to state, this is not about Tony. You've never made this about you.
No,
this is about remembering these men and what they did for Tony and many others who were playing in the park that day.
Right. Well, I think that, you know, I think there were 400 aviators, over 400 that died on that particular day. And I think other stories will come out as a result of this, because everybody's going to be looking, and that's what you want them to do. Because if we're going to remember it, we can't remember something. We can remember a face, and we can remember one of those faces, those young men. That's easy to remember.
They'll be smiling now.
Exactly.
They will be. Thank you very much indeed, Ambassador, for coming in. And you mentioned those. This, of course, is part of a huge sort of commemoration that's coming up as well. Do we know at this stage? Do you know? Can you tell us whether the President might be coming over for any of the other commemorations at all?
There'll be a lot. There'll be a lot. I'll be going all over. The President, that his trip over here hasn't been announced.
Right.
But when it is, you'll be the first to know.
They can stay
When we get him over here.
Okay, so it hasn't been announced, but he may be coming.
He may be, because it's a perfect time. It's a perfect time to come.
I don't know if you heard that, but Tony?
Stay at my house.
You're in Sheffield.
Yeah.
That's a perfect place to stay.
It is. Yeah.
No, and with you, I couldn't think of anything better.
That's an invitation.
That's it then, yeah.
Well, that's sorted.
Before you go, Tony, I just want to go. Should we go back to see everybody's reaction as well? Here we go.
That's it. Woohoo! Yeah, go for it.
Oh. That is a very large thumbs up for one very special man, Tony. That is for you.
Nice going, Tony.
Thank you very much indeed.
Congratulations. Dan, you too.
Oh, it's nice to see you both. Thank you.
Nice
this man is never normally speechless, but we've managed.
Oh, thank you very much, Mum.
It's a real pleasure to meet you, Tony. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you, Ambassador.
Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed. And honestly, Dan is the best person to keep secrets, by the way, everybody.
I've noticed.
Yeah, you and me both.
I'll see you in the park with that dog, all right?
You will,
Okay.
yes.
Very many thanks to you.